Hey everybody, it's Rob, and no, you haven't been doing that special blue meth. This is Everyman Movie Reviews back once again, this time to talk about El Camino. So I, like so many people, found Breaking Bad a little late in its run. I think it was when it came to Netflix, which would have been probably about season 3 on AMC, that I really got into Breaking Bad. And of course I binge watched the first 2 seasons, then raced over to AMC to watch season 3. And then from there to the end, I was an avid watcher. Like the last season, I had parties to go and watch. I mean, I think there was only like 6 or 7 episodes. Feels like it was short anyway. And I definitely dove into the story. And then, of course, the show ends and it's done. And we feel like maybe we're done with these characters. Maybe we're never going to hear from them again. But there were a lot of unanswered questions. I mean, I don't think it's a spoiler to say, hey, Walt dies there at the drug house. Maybe he does. I mean, I would assume based on what we see from El Camino. But nonetheless, Walt's out of the story. And now he leaves all of this disaster in his wake. And I, for one, reminded by watching a little Breaking Bad today, do not give a shit what happened to Skyler. Just could not care less. She is one of the best characters that I've ever seen on a TV show. Worst because she's a terrible person and I just hate every time she's on screen, but best because an actress can actually make you feel that kind of way about a character that she's portraying. So I think that she did an amazing job as far as that's concerned. But of course, all of that disaster is left in the wake, and the one most affected, of course, is his co-cook, the other half of Heisenberg, if you will, Jesse Pinkman. And, Jesse Pinkman has lived a second life, if you will, in the meme world. Haha, science, bitch. And 1,000 other moments from Breaking Bad have ended up as GIFs and memes all over the place in the last 10 years. But we never really knew what happened to Jesse after the events that we saw there. I think that it was, not that it was due, not that it was even necessary. I think Breaking Bad was Walt's story and it bookended itself. But, when you really get involved in characters, you want to see maybe a little more from them. And, I love Aaron Paul. I think that he has had a kind of a bad rap with some of the movies he's picked up. But overall, those movies have been relatively good, entertaining for what they were. But he will never outrun the shadow of Jesse Pinkman. He's Jesse Pinkman. Here we are again, El Camino. So I was super excited to see him in that role. But the details first. El Camino, of course, directed by Vince Gilligan, written by Vince Gilligan, based on the characters from Breaking Bad, created by Vince Gilligan. Starring Aaron Paul as Jesse. Jonathan Banks makes his way back as Mike, one of my favorite characters in all of television. Matt Jones as Badger, and Charles Baker as Skinny Pete, amongst some other returning faces. We see almost everybody that you might want to see from a Breaking Bad episode here, and it was great to see them again, and I don't know if there's more of these planned. I hear that there are. That's the rumor, that there's more Breaking Bad movies coming, and I hope so. I just love this universe. And if some way they can find a way to feed it into the Walking Dead universe. I don't know if you guys have heard that rumor, that episode 4 of The Walking Dead, one of the characters has some blue meth in a baggie, and that maybe the blue meth somehow created the zombie apocalypse. I just love that. The fact that those universes might intertwine in some way. But anyway, I would always be down for more Breaking Bad. I did watch the first 2 seasons of Better Call Saul. I feel like they were good, and I recognized Saul. And then, I haven't watched the 3rd season. I probably should before judging it. I just don't feel like they weren't bringing it in the end of the 2nd season the way that I really wanted to. And then, there's a lot of choices on TV, and I haven't chosen to watch it. And maybe that's on me. Maybe that's on the crew over there at Better Call Saul. Nonetheless, El Camino, out now, available on Netflix, right in your TV box. And I have to say, the major complaint that I heard from people after it became available on last Thursday, was, it's really just a long Breaking Bad episode. Yeah. Okay, I don't know about you, but that's what I want to see. I loved Breaking Bad. I want more Breaking Bad. I don't want Jesse Pinkman to come out and all of a sudden be Heisenberg and or be Tuco, and now he's like this crazy guy. No, I want the same characters doing the same thing because I love the show. I want more of the show. So I was just surprised that people would react that way about it. But if you didn't like Breaking Bad, I mean, here's the fact. You're not going to like El Camino. It is just a long episode. It's a run and escape and on the run, being chased kind of a movie. And it feels like episodic television in the way that it's kind of shot. It feels like premium episodic television, the way that Breaking Bad did. There's I don't know if there's a lot to say about it. Do you like Jesse Pinkman? Do you want to see all the things that happened that we didn't see in Breaking Bad because they were Jesse's stories, not Walt's? And do you want to see more of what happened after the last episode where we see, the whole showdown at the house and then Walt in the cookhouse and Jesse, nowhere to be seen? Then, hey. And, here's another thing. I didn't mention him at the top there, but Jesse Plemons, who played the character of Todd, and I think that's where we met him from Breaking Bad, but has gone on to do some amazing things. The one that pops in my mind, of course, is the episode of Black Mirror, where he was just amazing. And I just feel like every time I see him, I just love him more. No matter what character it is, I'm in it with him. I want to see more of him. We got to see more of him. There was a lot of him in this. I would recommend you doing the review of the Breaking Bad seasons up and until the end, because it really brought me back to where I was in 07, 8, 9, whenever. It might have been 06. It's been a long time. But nonetheless, I watched the review. I'm like, okay, now this is what happened. Now I'm in the story. Let's do this. And I was not disappointed. I got to see all my favorite people doing the things that I expected again. Badger's the same. Skinny Pete's the same. Kind of the same people, even though they may act in surprising ways. And, Jesse is the guy who we know push through to find a way and got his own plan, and maybe we don't understand it, and maybe he's just being a nice guy in a way. I don't know. He's a survivor that, when the nuclear bombs come, the only things that are going to survive are the cockroaches and Jesse Pinkman. They're going to find a way. I was not disappointed. I thought that it was a fantastic recapturing of that universe of Breaking Bad. And what more could you possibly want from a Breaking Bad movie, right? Take me back. Take me back to Albuquerque. Place I don't want to go in real life, but I'll go for Breaking Bad. I didn't even have to leave home. It didn't cost me anything, even though, movies mostly don't cost me money anyway. And, I could pause it rather than just run to the bathroom during a break. Those three things alone make it worthwhile to me. But I also I like the Breaking Bad universe. I like the characters of Jesse Pinkman. I like Mike. I like Todd, Skinny Pete and Badger. Remind me of some people I know in real life. I think that it's very clear that El Camino gets a thumbs up. If you like Breaking Bad at all, you're gonna like this. It's the same writer, it's the same team putting it together. It's a can't miss for those people who are fans. Now, if you're like friend of the O The Anthem podcast, Roberto, who tried to tell Corey, the host of the O The Anthem podcast, and I, that he just didn't know what the whole buzz was about, and then come to find out he's only watched the first few episodes of season 1 of Breaking Bad. If that's you, maybe wait. Maybe you should go watch Breaking Bad. Feel out whether or not you want to watch El Camino or not. But if you watched all the seasons like I did, if you were on the edge of your seat for the last season, if you were hosting watch parties and all kinds of stuff like that, you were going to love this movie. If that describes you at all, make sure you tune your Netflixes over to El Camino. You probably couldn't miss it because I think the first few days it was out, it was a thing suggested for everybody. So take I think it's 2 hours. Runtime's a little less than 2 hours. Take the 2 hours when you got nothing going on. Watch El Camino. And if you are a real fan like me, then don't just wait till you don't have time. Go make time. Go watch this thing because it's going to become part of the conversation for fans. Going into work the day after I watched it, it was very clear cut, left, right. If you loved Breaking Bad, you were talking about this, and it was what everyone wanted to talk about. If you never watched it or weren't a huge fan, you didn't really care and you didn't watch it. And there didn't seem to be an in-between those two groups. So be the right group. Be the one that loves Breaking Bad and loved El Camino. Bonus points from me to you. Well, there you have it. Yet another episode of the Everyman Movie Reviews. This time we talked about El Camino. What are we going to talk about next time? If you ask me, it's probably going to be Gemini Man, a movie I just saw. So lucky you. That'll be 2 episodes this week. Who would have thought? Look at me, getting prolific. But of course, if you want more from me, and why wouldn't you? You can check me out on all your social media at Robert N. Cheek. That's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Tumblr, everywhere at Robert N. Cheek. You could, of course, check out robertncheek.com, where you can find links to The Anthem, to my books, to the other projects I have going on, and, of course, to YouTube, where you can see videos of these episodes. As of last week, these episodes are now available in podcast form. So go on over to anchor.fm, that's anchor.fm/Everyman Movie Reviews, and you can hear the podcast version if you prefer that. And, listen, if you like the work I would do, if you like the reviews, if you like The Anthem and all that stuff, there's a really great way you can show me your appreciation. Going over to patreon.com, patreon.com/Robert N. Cheek. Become one of my patrons. Even for just a few dollars a month, it helps make me and my time and all the stuff that we have to do, the cameras, the mics, and everything, kind of makes those a little easier, a little less out of pocket, and a little more support. So I always appreciate my patrons. I appreciate all the support that they give me. They're always the first ones to go out and see things, to watch things, to read things. And I really like to expand that list to include you. I think that's everything for this week. Don't know what is going to be coming up after Gemini Man. Got a couple of movies I want to see and a couple that I've seen, but I'm going to try to bulk record a couple of episodes and take it from there. But until you hear from me again, take care of yourselves. Go see El Camino. Take the time. You're at home right now, probably. Or you're at work. Nobody will know. Don't tell the boss. Pull up Netflix. Watch El Camino. Until next time, have a great week, everybody.